President Biden addresses the nation regarding the protests at college campuses. And China launches a spacecraft it hopes will be the first to bring back samples from the far side of the moon. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Friday, May 3rd. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. President Joe Biden addressed the nation from the White House on Thursday about the ongoing pro-Palestinian protests that have led to over 2,000 arrests across college campuses over the past 2 weeks. Biden saying the events have put to the test two fundamental American principles.
The first is the right to free speech and for people to peacefully assemble and make their voices heard. The second is the rule of law. Both must be upheld. We are not an authoritarian nation where we silence people or squash dissent. The American people are heard. In fact, peaceful protest is in the best tradition of how Americans respond to consequential issues. But, neither are we a lawless country. We are a civil society, and order must prevail.
After days of silence about the demonstrations, Biden delivering his first formal remarks from the Roosevelt Room, echoing previous White House statements, saying people have the right to peacefully protest, but violent protest is not protected. The president's unscheduled remarks came amid criticism from Republicans, including former President Donald Trump, who called on Biden to speak out. Biden holding the press conference just hours after police arrested more than 130 people at an encampment on the UCLA campus.
People have the right to get an education, the right to get a degree, the right to walk across the campus safely without fear of being attacked. But let's be clear about this as well. There should be no place on any campus, no place in America for anti-Semitism or threats of violence against Jewish students. There is no place for hate speech or violence of any kind, whether it's anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, or discrimination against Arab Americans or Palestinian Americans. It's simply wrong. There's no place for racism in America. It's all wrong. It's un-American.
After ending his speech, the president took questions, saying protests will not change his policies in the Middle East and the National Guard should not intervene. The judge in Donald Trump's criminal trial in New York is once again deciding whether the former president violated the gag order that bars him from making public statements about witnesses or jurors. After ruling Trump violated the gag order 9 times earlier in the week, the judge was presented Thursday with 4 additional alleged violations from the prosecution during Thursday's proceedings. Trump's lawyers arguing he should be able to respond to repeated attacks on his campaign for president. The judge not making a ruling yet. Later in the day, a lawyer for the former president asked the judge to look at a series of articles that Trump would like to post to his Truth Social account, making sure they do not violate the gag order. The judge saying he would not give an advanced ruling on Trump's post. Hamas is set to send a delegation to Egypt for further ceasefire talks to end the war in Gaza. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller spoke to reporters on Thursday about the latest proposal being presented by mediators.
There is a proposal on the table that answers much of the demands that Hamas made in previous rounds of negotiations. Israel made a significant offer in this last proposal that went forward. They compromised on many long-held positions that they had taken. And as I said, met many of the demands that Hamas had said they needed to agree to a deal.
The current proposal involves a 6-week ceasefire and partial release of Israeli hostages. The proposal hinges on whether Israel will agree to end the conflict without achieving its goal of dismantling Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying even if a ceasefire is agreed upon, Israel will still target Rafah, which he says is Hamas's final stronghold in Gaza. Amid these ceasefire talks and as the war approaches the 7-month mark, the UN released a report Thursday saying it would take until 2040 to rebuild all the homes destroyed in Gaza. That was how it sounded this morning as China successfully launched a rocket carrying its Chang'e 6 spacecraft, looking to become the first mission to bring back a sample from the far side of the moon. The name Chang'e refers to the Chinese moon goddess. Scientists hoping the samples will shed light on the moon's origin. It will take the spacecraft 5 days to reach the moon, the mission lasting 53 days total. As the space race heats up, China remains the only country to have a lunar lander reach the far side of the moon, doing so in 2019. The fitness company Peleton has announced its CEO is stepping down as it looks to cut 15% of its workforce, amounting to about 400 jobs. This marks the fifth round of layoffs since 2021. Once a pandemic success story, Peleton is facing declining sales and subscriber numbers as consumers have returned to in-person gyms. The company plans to cut costs by over $200 million, aiming to streamline operations and reduce its retail footprint. The search for a new company CEO is underway. Finally this morning, it's a collaboration that not many people saw coming. The video game brand Tetris is celebrating its 40th anniversary by partnering with convenience store chain 7-Eleven. Together, they're offering a limited edition handheld gaming device that is in the shape of 7-Eleven's famous Slurpee. It lights up in various colors to resemble different Slurpee flavors. 7-Eleven customers who purchase certain items have the chance to win one of the 20,000 devices made. The chain is also offering an entire line of Tetris apparel on its website as part of the anniversary celebration. These are your top stories for this Friday. You can get the latest unbiased straight facts anytime by downloading the Straight Arrow News mobile app. We'll see you back here on Monday. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great weekend.